Guys, starting to break, so a beautiful sunset coming up as well. But we are keeping a close eye on the heat building in. After a pleasant weekend, look at next week. We'll talk more about that and what you can expect coming up.
New details on the investigation into the Uvalde, Texas school massacre. Questions remain about law enforcement's delayed response. The school's police chief is now talking. This as funerals continue for the 21 victims. Fourth grade teacher Eva Mireles laid to rest today.
Uvalde School Police Chief Pete Arredondo breaking his silence and defending law enforcement's response in the Uvalde school shooting for the first time in an interview with the Texas Tribune, saying the only thing that was important to me at this time was to save as many teachers and children as possible, adding not a single responding officer ever hesitated even for a moment to put themselves at risk to save the children. This after growing questions about police response time. The gunman was inside the school for 77 minutes, killing 19 children and 2 teachers. An official tells ABC News Arredondo was overheard that day, saying people are going to ask why we're taking so long. Arredondo tells the Texas Tribune he ran into the school without body armor, leaving his radio behind, claiming it would slow him down. He says he began searching rooms before finding the shooter inside a classroom. Without breaching equipment, he says they tried opening the door with dozens of keys before finding the correct one. Also, without his radio, he claims he was unaware of the 911 calls from students inside the classroom and that nobody relayed the information to him.
Is there anybody inside of the building? Is advising he is in the room full of victims.
Sources tell ABC in a preliminary assessment, state investigators believe that police officers delayed entry into the school as the shooting occurred because they were waiting for protective gear to arrive. Waiting for protective gear goes against active shooter protocols that have been adopted by law enforcement agencies across the country.
We're learning more about the safety of our students here in North Alabama. The Morgan County Schools District confirmed to WAAY-31 starting Monday there will be a school resource officer at every campus while summer programs are in session.
Many of the biggest names in Washington politics met in Los Angeles today to close out the Summit of the Americas. More critics are speaking out about the United States' decision not to invite leaders from Cuba, Venezuela, or Nicaragua. The Biden administration says it did not want authoritarian leaders at the event. The Mexican president boycotted the summit in protest as a caravan of some 5,000 migrants heads towards his border with the U.S.
The Biden administration is set to announce the CDC will lift the requirement of a negative COVID test for travelers entering the U.S. That's according to a senior administration official. The change will go into effect for U.S.-bound air travelers at midnight Sunday. The measure has been in place since January of last year. The first COVID vaccinations for children under 5 years old could start in 2 weeks. FDA vaccine advisors are set to meet next week to discuss authorizing emergency use of Moderna's COVID vaccine for children ages 6 months through 5 years old, and Pfizer's vaccine for children 6 months through 4 years old. Last week, 10 million vaccine doses were made available to pre-order for children. Millions more will be ready to go in the coming weeks.
This approach allows us to seed communities with enough vaccine so that it is readily accessible and equitably distributed across the country.
Pending the decisions from the FDA, the CDC will make final recommendations about the vaccines. Here's a closer look at the vaccination efforts in Alabama since the pandemic began. According to the state health department, more than 6 million doses have been administered so far. That's about 63% of the more than 9.5 million doses delivered to the state. Of the total doses administered, we know nearly 839,000 were booster doses.
Weather coverage you can count on with meteorologist Rob Elvington and the WAAY-31 Storm Tracker Early Warning Radar Network.
And here's a live look from our Muscle Shoals sky camera looking off to the northwest. This view brought to you by the Thompson Roofing and Construction Sky Camera Network. And we're starting to see some of these clouds breaking up. And again, all these clouds are from that big thunderstorm complex that just missed us off to the south today. And that's where all the showers and storms were, central and southern Alabama. 79 degrees right now in Muscle Shoals. Enjoy it, folks, because we are going to be much warmer than this heading into this weekend and of course next week with the heat wave building in. So there's a look at the WAAY-31 Storm Tracker Early Warning Radar Network. We're all dry here in North Alabama. Also the satellite turned on. You'll notice that once you get north of the Tennessee River, the clouds really start to thin out, and we'll continue to see some thinning of these clouds here this evening. Should just be an absolutely beautiful sunset. If you get that here around 8 o'clock tonight, send that picture to share@WAAY-TV.com. Again, the closest rain, again, just off to our south. That is the northern edge of that. But again, we're not expecting any rain through this evening. Temperatures dropping to the low 70s by 8, 9 o'clock tonight. So if you're heading out to dinner, heading out for a walk, or the Trash Pandas game, just beautiful weather, humidity tolerable. Then by tomorrow, we're back up to the mid 80s. These are still a few degrees below our average for this time of the year. Humidity not bad, and maybe a stray sprinkle for some, but just about everyone staying completely dry for your Saturday. So here's a look at 7 o'clock this evening. Still seeing some of those passing, mostly high clouds, but no rain in the forecast. Through the overnight hours and into your Saturday morning, we'll start off with partly to mostly sunny skies, and we'll likely see some clouds moving in from out of the northwest through your Saturday afternoon. But that's pretty much about it. Again, you're not seeing much in the way of rain other than a sprinkler or two showing up closer to Lawrence County. And then by Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, we're tracking mostly sunny skies, just some clouds building up in the afternoon heat, because we will be tracking low 90s by Sunday, mid 90s by Monday. Look at this. This is an excessive heat outlook issued by the WPC. It's just a governing body with the National Weather Service. And you'll notice all this area in red. This is the area of concern for next week. They're really concerned about not only the heat, but the humidity, where we could see heat index values between 105 and 110 for multiple days. Humidity tracker, this is around 4 o'clock tomorrow. Not too bad. We still have some of those browns nearby. It's drier than normal air, but just look at all the greens building in by Sunday and into the start of the heat wave. So really concerned that we're going to have the humidity along with the temperatures. And look at the peak heat index values for Monday through Friday. right around 110 for Monday and Tuesday, dropping off some by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But these are still some dangerous conditions all the way through next work week. Could even see a few pop-up storms by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That should pull the highs down by a couple of degrees.
A warning from employment experts.
Scammers leading you to believe you're the right candidate for a job just to get your personal information. We'll explain how they do it next.
Hey Tim, mic check, mic check, mic check. How does this sound? I'm using the lav mic. Is it all right? No. No. Yeah. Is this better? I'm kind of really close to the street, so cars are definitely coming back and forth. All right, awesome.
We're learning new information about the 229,000 Americans who filed initial unemployment claims last week. Alabama's Labor Department says more than 2,500 of those claims came from right here in the Yellowhammer State. Madison County reported the most of any county in our region with more than 170. Morgan and Lauderdale counties followed. Meanwhile, employment experts are sounding a warning about scammers claiming to hire you just to get your personal information. WAAY-31 anchor Chris Tatum shows us what to be on the lookout for.
Well, it can start with a phone call, an email, or a flashy print ad you just can't help but notice. Easy work for great play? Ha! Red flag. All that personal information you give a legitimate employer once you start a new job, your name, your social security number, your bank account information to start your direct deposit. Well, experts say that is exactly what the con artists behind those ads wants. And once you give it, they'll clean out your account and wreck your good name. So here's what those experts say you should watch out for. If the ad is big on glitz and glamour but short of job details, red flag. If the person who posted that ad can't or won't answer your basic questions, red flag. If they ask for your personal information during the interview, red flag. And perhaps the biggest red flag of all, hey, if they want money up front, No way, hang up. You shouldn't pay somebody to work for them. They should pay you, right? That's somebody trying to con you out of your hard-earned money. Chris Tatum, WAAY-31 News.
New at 4, if you find yourself endlessly scrolling through social media, you're not alone. However, the platform TikTok wants you to do it less, or at least be aware of the amount of time you're spending on the app. In the coming weeks, the company will put out custom time limits for how much uninterrupted time you want to spend using the app. Once you hit that limit, you'll get a reminder to take a break.
A local dry cleaning business closing abruptly.
Customers left without their clothes, but with plenty of questions.
You're watching Alabama Broadcasters Station of the Year. Coverage you can count on. WAAY-31 News at 4:30 starts now.
We begin 4:30 with a live look above the Rocket City. A calm afternoon to wrap up the work week. We're tracking what you can expect for your weekend.
Plus, the cost of almost everything going up. Inflation seeing the largest yearly increase in more than 4 decades.